Most coaches charge too little and it kills you. It will kill you. And I say this from experience. And why? If you're a coach and you've been working in pro sport, or even if you just started, okay, let's take the pro sport angle to look at first and foremost, right? Think about the stories and narratives that are told to us as a profession when we start. You're going to do it for the love. You're not here for the money. So we create a lot of these excuses. Oh yeah, someone else is going to do it if you don't. So we start to create these excuses of why we think it's okay to not get paid well, but then we see everyone ranting all over social media about, well, this job's doesn't fucking pay well. This job doesn't fucking pay well. Well, think about this for an example. Maybe, as I talked about in the last episode, that the job of a strength and conditioning coach is actually considered as low skilled labor or skilled labor in the context of our profession, but you have to get a degree and a master's and certifications and stuff to be known as skilled labor. And as far as I'm concerned, skilled labor doesn't really pay amazing or low skilled labor, because if you were to think about your job as an S&C coach in team sport in relation to your contribution to the on-field results, it's technically low skilled labor. All right. And then that's the reason why we get paid the salaries that we would do and do. So it's no one else's fault apart from yourself. Okay. And that is the thing that I had to say to myself. I was like, you are in this position because of the actions that you take, because you wanted to chase, you wanted the glory of working in professional rugby because you didn't get the chance to play it yourself. You carried that with you and you got there in the end. Well done. But like, as I said in some previous episodes, I couldn't even buy a house. I had the deposit. I had a very good deposit, more than most people can put together, the two of them. If you haven't got the record, sir, you can't buy a house. And so you can't live in the real world, And so when you think about that, it ties into our money stories. Like, coaches are they're people pleasers. They want to help people. So when you start to realize that when you charge not a lot of money relative to the service, especially, let's just go booking hourly sessions. When you're charging £20 an hour, for example, £30 an hour, you're not going to get much buy-in. Because you're cheap, you become affordable, so you become a commodity. Okay, and you think about in the day-to-day, what things would you pay £30 an hour for? You pay £30 an hour or less that for a cleaner. Okay, and most people value having a clean house than improving their performance, and you pay less for that. So there's something that's really important to understand here, and it's psychology. Okay, first of all, it's your own psychology of your own self-worth. Lots and lots of strength and conditioning coaches that I work with have really, really low points of value of themselves. They have low self-worth because they beg for jobs, beg for clients, beg for customers, beg for work, because of the thing that's been wrapped around, the narrative that's been wrapped around us. And you shouldn't do it. And I tell you now, do not do it. Stop doing it. And so you really have to think about psychology of spending. First of all, I want you to go and ask yourself the one question: how do I feel about money? How does money make me feel? How does not having money make me feel? Do I even understand what having money would make me feel like? How much money do I want to have? What was money like in my house when I grew up? What do my friends talk to me about money? How do they associate with money? And that's going to start to show you your value constructs around finances and money. Do you even look at your bank account? Okay. So what happened for me in this position was actually, it was kind of out of necessity. And there's certain things that you can charge certain things more for. I create information material. There's certain things that I can't charge hundreds of pounds for, but there's certain things that I can charge hundreds of pounds for, and I do appropriately. I think I'm very reasonable and fair in those things, because I believe in what's known as a customer journey and lifetime value. And hopefully you can think about the things that I do and go, yes, Sam really does do that for me, and he keeps our best interests at heart, and wants to help. And that's the position that I want you to hold. But if we're doing hour for hour, okay, if you go and look at it from this way, if you've got an undergrad degree, you've got a master's degree. So I was lucky; I needed to pay $6,000 a year, I think it was, for my undergrad. But in total, I've got 50K worth of education investment behind me, plus all my other stuff and then experience, right? So how much would that be worth to someone, my time, to answer that question? Or how do you help me? I need you to help me with this thing. It's a lot more than £30 an hour, because being able to turn the right screw at the right time for someone is more important than not knowing and figuring it out as you go. You can be surgical and deliberate, and you will have a very unique skill set in being able to do something really, really well. So you should lean on that as your skill. So long story short, I really started making adjustments to my pricing 2018 when I got let go from Ealing. And you know that story. If you don't, you'll hear it another time, because it's actually quite amusing. And I said, enough's enough. I'm tired of being a walkover. I'm tired of being pushed around by this insidious profession that we're in. And I started to do extra sessions with people, and even the players. And I started charging £80 to £90 per session straight off the bat. Where before, when I was working at 50 odd, which was pre-COVID, a lot's changed since COVID. You have to understand, like, right now, 2025, we're in a bit of a recession. So you have to understand those things. But yeah, and no one argued with it. They just did it. They just, yeah, sure, amazing, cool. And what happened when I started doing that? These clients, these people that I was working with, they would start coming to me rather than me going to them. Before, I would go, where's the best place for you to be? I'll come meet you, X, Y, Z. So I was be paying extra petrol, charging less, and they were late most of the time. They didn't take it seriously. So one thing that I want you to understand, the psychology of pricing, is that when you actually do up your price, you're going to get rid of these people of what we call headache money. They complain. They want to expect discounts. They charge you. They want to pay the least. They want the most. These guys and girls, they're headache money. They drive me fucking mad. These are the ones that I fire. I realize, oh God, you're a headache client. I should have charged you more. You're gone. See you later, because I don't need that noise. And so the psychology of pricing is trust, not about money. So if you say, oh, it's £20 a session, what you're saying to them is, you shouldn't trust me that much. Where the evolution of currency has been evolved in an exchange of value. So you'd always, even, it's in our DNA, it's not even a conscious thought, we will pay more for things that we trust. Okay, especially in service provisions. Why do you think consultants get paid the most in medicine, lawyers, solicitors? The reason why these people still make their $100,000 salaries, for example, although you can make $100,000 as an S&C coach, without a doubt, I've done it, by trust, by cementing trust into them. If you become a doctor, you're just a doctor, and everyone trusts a doctor because a doctor can do whatever. But you need to be a coach, S&C coach. You need to be trustworthy, and you do that with pricing. You do that in pricing. So the tip that I really want to give you today is stop charging by the hour. Start creating packages and creating bundles, and bundles are really useful. And I'm not talking about bundling. Oh, I'm going to do 10 sessions for the price of 8. No, absolutely not. You can do 10 sessions. That 10 sessions would be £100 now, quite £1,000. Right. In that 10 1-hour sessions, £1,000. The bundle is, these 10 sessions have to be done in no more than 12 weeks. Okay, because you're going to give some leeway. That allows you to forecast your financial projection. So you have to put that in on the bundle. Otherwise, you do a block of 10, it'll take you 6 months. You're losing money. by the time that is, because they're taking up space that someone else could be filling, or you need to second sell them into another block or another type of service that you've got. So this first bundle, this first block, for example, and inside that's going to be your sort of starter block. So you've got the base one-to-one sessions, but then what else are you going to add it? Well, you're going to do nutrition coaching. You're going to do lifestyle audits. You're going to do, if you've got experience in the sport, you could do video analysis of the sport in that bundle. Okay, so what that's doing is really enhancing the offer, and I encourage you to do like really low lift enhancements, maybe even have resources that you can add on top to create the bundle that you do once, but they keep giving value to people every time you get a new customer coming in. And that's going to really drive up the quality of service. It makes you feel more premium, makes you feel more deliberate and well-intended as well. So people will trust that more, rather than saying, here, yeah, 10 sessions, we're just going to go to the park and I'll see you there. Cheers, mate. Nice one. Thank you. There's no relationship. There's no trust. There's no credibility there. All right, and that's how you can start really building. So start mapping out your packages, and then also the big final tip that I want to give you, okay, to work out how much you need to charge, is find out how much money you want to make. Then find out how many hours you actually really can do without burning out. Then try and find the price point that kind of works in there. And if it doesn't completely work with under 16 rugby players, for example, then how many under 16 rugby players do you need to get, and how many local businessmen or women or whoever do you need to improve them for 5Ks or triathlons or whatever? You need to broaden out your service a little bit to offset the balance, and that way you'll start to really see the fruits of your labor, because diversification is key in this business. So that being said, I hope you really enjoy it. The Legacy Mastermind, our £9 a month program is rocking. It's kicking off, and inside, it's the first step on the ladder. And we talk about bundles, talk about packages. It's the first step on the ladder to taking control of what you want to do with minimal risk. £9 a month. You're inside the WhatsApp group, but then inside the portal, there's not boring lectures. What there is templates, plug and play. You want to work out your bundle? It's in there. I show you literally how to do it. You just go on the street, you answer the questions, and it does it for you. Financial forecasters, all these things are inside there ready and waiting for you for £9 a month. I mean it when I say I'm really working hard to change the face of strength and conditioning, because 20 years ago, this access and this opportunity that you have did not exist then. And I really want you to capitalize on it. So keep listening, keep learning, keep pushing, keep growing. SNC Business Club, Sam Portland podcast. See you on the next one.